Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Ganana Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunvanno Debisi Dasadanam Mahaganapataye Namaha प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु वाग्देव्यै नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम। ओम नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशांताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याता सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बाधरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। A spiritual seeker who wants to gain self-knowledge should approach Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru is the commandment. Atmavare drashtavyaha श्रोतव्यो मंतव्यो निदिध्यासितव्यः। तद्विद्धि प्रणिपादेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः। भगवान श्री कृष्ण says, परीक्ष्य लोकान् कर्मचितान् ब्राह्मणो निर्वेदमायात् नास्त्यकृतकृतेन तद्विज्ञानार्थं स गुरुं एव अभिगच्छेत् समित्पाणिः श्रोत्रियं ब्रह्मनिष्ठम्। तद्विज्ञानार्थम् अभिगच्छेत् सः अभिगच्छेत्येव सः श्रोत्रियं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं गुरुम् अभिगच्छेत्। समित्पाणिः सन् अभिगच्छेत्। Today we will analyze what is the meaning of Samitpanihi san abhigacche. Samitpanihi means one who has disciplehood, Sishyatvam. So the Shishya is expected to have certain maturity. If he is interested in gaining this knowledge, he should have some emotional maturity. he should have some convictions. He should be prepared for giving price for what he wants. Because nothing comes without price. Even though the price mentioned here is not going to help the teacher, it is not for the sake of the teacher, but the price is demanded to verify whether the receiver, the student, is qualified or not. These qualifications which are expected from a seeker of spiritual truth are called sadhana chatushtaya sampattihi. It is a wealth. Sampattihi means wealth. So the seeker should have certain sampatti, certain wealth, so that he can pay. What are all the wealth? Chatushtaya, 4 types of wealth. Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi, Mumukshutvam. 4 types of wealth. All these wealth are in the form of certain mental dispositions on the part of the seeker. It is not in the form of wealth or possession or health of a disciple, but it is certain mental maturity. Viveka, discriminating capacity. Even though every human being is blessed with intellect, all human beings are not blessed with intelligence. Intellect is different from intelligence. If you use that intellect in a proper way and learn, that becomes a practice. So the mind becomes intelligent. The intellect becomes intelligent. So the person who is seeking after the truth should have this capacity of knowing certain things. That is called vivekaha. Discrimination. The word discrimination may have another meaning also. You discriminate caste discrimination, coffee discrimination. You discriminate coffee from tea. Not that way. Nitya anitya vastu vivekaha, they call it. Nitya anitya vastu vivekaha. Discrimination between what is nityam, what is not nitya. That is going to be the guiding point for him to come to certain conclusions and take certain resolutions. What for I am, what for my life is, how I will spend my lifetime hereafter. All these resolutions are based on certain convictions. So those convictions are arrived because of discrimination capacity. That is called vivekaha. The second one is vairagyam. Once you come to know this is not a necessity for me, you should be able to live without that. Simple. Poison is not a need for me. Once you know, then you have to live without that. The idea that poison kills me and the idea that I am taking poison cannot go together. But in many cases it goes together. Even after knowing that it is poison, it is obstacle, it is not that which I wanted actually, even knowing that, human mind goes behind that. So the capacity to give up, the capacity to renounce. Kakavishtaya, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, you should be able to tip off everything which are not going to help him in spiritual seeking, which are not going to help him in finding the truth about himself, he should be able to tip off like a crow drop. Suppose a crow drops on someone's shoulder. So generally it will be shining. So nobody wants to keep it. Immediately he washes off. Immediately he becomes free from that. Similarly, those things which prove to be obstacle or unnecessary or burden in this particular way of life, in this particular search, the seeker should be able to renounce it. This is called vairagya. Third one is shamadhi shatka sampattihi, emotional wealth. That is grouped together and advised or prescribed here as the third wealth. Third wealth has 6 sub-wealths. Then fourth one is mumukshutva. So we will analyze what are they, why they are prescribed by the Shastra. All those things we will analyze slowly. Today we will take the topic called Viveka Shakti. A spiritual seeker is one who seeks spirituality. What do you mean by that? A spiritual seeker is one who seeks freedom. To seek freedom, he should be knowledgeable about what is bondage. To seek medicine, he should be knowledgeable what is my disease. So, first thing is, the spiritual seeker discovers his rogaha. Rogaha means disease. What is the disease? Suppose you go to a doctor without any disease and go and complain about the natural fact. He cannot treat you. My Acharya Swamiji used to say, if person went to ophthalmologist, then doctor asked, what is the problem? Doctor, I see. You see? So he thought, doctor thought, maybe he is seeing double. You are seeing every form as double? No, doctor. See, I see only single form. Anything I see single. Then what is the problem? I see. You see? How seeing can be problem? Then he thought, maybe morning only he can see. Evening blindness may be there. So he asked, oh, at evening times, night times, you are not able to see? No, doctor, I see very clearly. Then what is the problem? I see. Then again doctor thought, see, when he says I see, how can be that a problem? Seeing is a natural factor for anyone who has eyesight. Then he thought, maybe he is seeing everything without color. Color blindness may be there. So he asked the patient, do you see everything black and white? No, doctor, I see all colors. No problem. Then what is the problem? I see. Then doctor, ophthalmologist, he came to conclusion, I see. Your problem is not with regard to eyes, because you are complaining about acuities of perfect eyes. Naturalness of that eyes you are complaining about. Eyes means it will see. It is a fact about the eyes. You are complaining about the fact about the eyes. So if anybody complains about the fact about anything, is mentally vitiated. So he prescribed the patient to the psychiatric department. So no one can complain about his health. Everyone complains only about ill health. That's why whenever somebody asks, how are you? Even though we are fine or not, we say, I am fine. While seeing I am fine, we don't cry and say, I am fine. No, we don't say, I am fine. When I am not fine, and when I say I am not fine, then there is a possibility of complaining or crying. You cannot complain or cry about the nice things about life. So here, the spiritual seeker is seeking for freedom. What for? Already you are free only. Your hands are not tied. You are not locked under a room. Your legs are not tied. Your eyes are not blindfolded. Your ears are not plugged. Your mouths are not shut. And you eat whatever you want and you speak whatever you like. What is the problem for you? Why you want freedom? From whom you want freedom? So the spiritual seeker should be very clear about what is his problem. This recognition, this discovery of this problem itself is the greatest achievement in human life. Whether a person gains knowledge, whether a person goes seeking for knowledge, whether a person becomes free from bondage, if he discovers what is my problem, that is the greatest discovery. In humanity, 99% of people are not able to find out what is their problem, even with regard to physical health. That's why everyone goes to doctor. And with regard to mental health, people go to psychiatrist. Understand? With regard to social problems, they go for economic gurus. Guru word they also added for everything. Financial guru, economic guru, dance guru. They added the word. It's a conspiracy against Vedanta. All words which honor the grandness of spiritual journey, all are used in a light way, so that people will not go for it. That's a conspiracy. Western conspiracy they call it. So, you don't know what is your problem. That is why humanity always struggles to adjust this setup. It always, all scientific achievements are nothing but adjustment in the setup. When a person suffers because of cooking through wood, LPG gas cylinder is discovered. Another source of fire. He is suffering because of hot air condition discovered. He suffers because of walking, car discovered. All human achievements, discoveries are nothing but a struggle to change the setup, which gives problems to the human society. Understand? So always we try to change the setup. A poor man thinks his problem is poverty. An youth or a bachelor thinks his problem is absence of life partner. A married man thinks his problem is not having children. An old man thinks that his problem is he is not recognized, his contributions are not recognized. Nobody cares for me, like that he thinks. So we don't understand what is the problem we have. We blame the external world and try to adjust the external world, either inert objects or living beings. Suppose when a person comes from office, he expects somebody who is in the house should receive him. A smile. Vango, please come. But as even he comes, his motorbike sound is heard, all the family members go to their room. So he thinks, Arey, after a lot of struggle, I am coming to home. Nobody is there to give a pleasant smile. So he purchases dog. Why? To replace the smiling face from tail wagging dog. Bas. He is ready to pay. Understood? So dog is very clever. So it smells. Even the person is to 100 meters away. Then it starts shouts. Expresses happiness and surrounds him like this. So he is happy. Appa, at least dog is there to welcome me. And my Acharya used to say, when he says this example, there are some people, even dogs are afraid of that fellow and goes inside. So we find that if the house is small, we try to build big. If roads are not good for our travel, we try to build the roads. Infrastructure development, scientific developments, then gadgets, so many things, all are nothing but a struggle to adjust the setup. That is not working at all. Every setup becomes upset. Every expectation becomes disappointment. Understand? So, any amount of external adjustment does not solve his problem. That is why Upanishad said, Pariksha lokan karmachidan. You have to examine the nature of the world, nature of your body, mind, intellect. Then what is the problem for your body, mind, intellect? Who gives it? Then only you can find out possible solution. Now and then we come across the symptoms of problem. Kamaha, desire, inordinate desire. Krodhaha, anger. Lobhaha, matsaryaha, jealous. Lobhaha, greed. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Mind becomes so arrogant. Mada. It wants to show off, pomp and shows. It likes. Moha, confusion. Whether go for it, not for it. Should I marry or not? If I marry, whom to marry? Should I settle in this job or not? Should I go for job or not? Every stage we are having confusions. So, these are all the symptoms of the disease. But actual disease, I don't know. It is like a patient goes to the doctor and says, now and then I get pimples, doctor. It's very painful it is to get pimples. But it disappears. The pimple may be a symptom of a cancer. So, I don't know what is the disease, but I get symptoms of those disease. So, in my life, I go through the emotional upheavals, ups and downs. One day I am at the top of the world, another day I am the bottom of the world. One day full of ecstasy, joy, hilarious, laughing and other thing. Second day or same day, evening, full of sorrows, sad. So, discovering the basic problem of life is the greatest discovery in one's life. What is that basic problem? Samsara rogaha it is called. Always samsaraha means what? Samyak sarati. Samyak charati iti samsaraha. Always in travel. Always in travel called pravritti or nivritti. always in search of something. No amount of achievement, no amount of accumulation, no amount of love, affection given by others satisfies this person. No amount of money satisfies this person. No amount of possession satisfies this person. Alexander wanted to conquer the entire world. What you are going to do? Finally, he ended up with 6 feet of land, and that too for 6 months. So always no limit for achievements. Sky is the limit. And if he goes to sky, sky also is not the limit. He starts from sky again. So they have sent a rocket to the moon first. Now they are sending to other planets, Mars. Now they are sending towards the sun. So will they end up, once they cover sending all these things with this solar system, they will go for another solar system. Then galaxy. Like that going on. Whether it is external running or internal running, external pravritti or internal pravritti, doesn't stop at all. Alam buddhihi nasti, my Acharya Swami used to say. Alam buddhihi, enough. Atrupti is there. Always he finds himself as a dissatisfied person, as a small, insignificant, inadequate, growing, aging, dying person. So this parichinnatvam, this samsaraha, this atrupti is the disease. We began the class with self-judgment, correct? So others don't tell anything, but he judges himself initially first. Then comes to this conclusion. Kama krodhas, low self-image, eternal dissatisfaction, these are all symptoms, but not actual disease. So the disease is samsara rogaha, which manifests in the form of parichinnatvam, alpatvam, anityatvam. Initially he tries to change the setup and tries to get something, but when he fails, he discovers his helplessness in solving this problem. You take Arjuna's life. Parikshalokan karmachitan. He is a man of action. Always from childhood onwards, he was a man of action. He learned nicely. He was so much dedicated for education, powerful, dharmic, witty, enjoying nature. Always he used to mingle with everyone. Married so many women, acquired so much of wealth. That's why he was called Dhananjayaha. Dhanam means wealth. One who has earned a lot of wealth by his power, by his talents, by his beauty. He won the hearts of many young girls and married also. So many marriage. Krishna's disciple, na? But there was a moment in his life. What for all these things? What I gained? There was a moment in his life, and that too very crucial moment it was. He has to fight dharma yuddham. That time this confusion comes to manifest. Arjuna initially tried to solve his confusion and gives a beautiful lecture also. That's what we come across in first chapter of Gita. But when he discovers his helplessness in solving his problem by himself, that is called self-medication. Self-medication always problematic. My Acharya Swamiji used to tell, don't try self-medication with regard to solving your problems. There was a person who visited burial ground and he came across a particular stupa in which it is written, we express our great sorrow for our father who died because of printing error. What? By printing error a person can die like that? This visitor thought. Then the name of the person is there, born, died, so and so family, so and so village. So he went to that village and searched for that family and came across the family members. Then he inquired, sir, so and so person is your father? Yes, yes, he is our father. What's the problem? He passed away. Sir, I went to burial ground and saw this tomb. Like this it was written that your father died because of printing error. How is it possible? Then he told, my father has the habit of self-medication. So whenever he gets any health problem, he will refer ready reckoner, medical ready reckoner. There is a medical ready reckoner. For any disease you read that symptom, all will be same. And all symptoms appear to be with us for any disease. Like that they will write. So there the medication was citric acid. Okay, what is the problem? But there was a printing error. Instead of putting C, that fellow has printed as N, nitric acid. So he went and purchased nitric acid and solved died. So self-medication with regard to solving this samsara roga will not help. That's why Gurum eva abhigachet. Abhigachet eva. Tad vijnanartam eva abhigachet. So he discovers his helplessness, then he surrenders to the Lord. He surrenders not to the Lord with the consciousness that the person who is standing in front of me is Lord. Arjuna now and then remembers that Krishna is grand. Arjuna was not knowledgeable about the spiritual nature of Bhagavan Krishna. That's why he trembles when Bhagavan Krishna shows his Vishwarupa Darshana, he trembles. Who you are, he asks. So he considers Krishna as his friend, counselor, good advisor, with whom you can share your thoughts, from whom you can get good advices, suggestions. So that is why he picked Krishna as a charioteer. Because a charioteer plays a major role in the war by suggestions, counseling and taking proper directions, speed and saving the master, like that. So when he expresses his sorrow, nahi prapashyami mama apanutya yachokamuchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhuma vasapadnam rudyam rajyam suranam apichatipadyam. When I encountered this suffering, even if I am given the Swargaloka at free of cost, I don't think this gift will solve my problem. Rajyam suranam cha adhipatyam nahi prapashyami. Then when conquering the Swarga is not useful to solve my problem, What is the need of conquering this simple land? Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan sheyo bhoktum bhaikshami apiha loke. You want me to conquer this land and enjoy the possessions in the land which are conquered after smearing the blood of my Gurudev? How I can enjoy certain things which is smeared with the blood of my Gurudev? So he was in full of confusion. Then he surrenders to the Lord. Karpanya doshopahata swabhavaha prichami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. I have become dharma sammudha chetaha. His problem is not samsara problem. His problem is dharma adharma problem. Then Bhagavan converts it as a samsaric problem, and dharma adharma confusion is as a symptom. That's all. Confusion as a symptom, not actual problem. We also do same thing. We go to a doctor telling that I have a stomach pain. Then doctor says you have typhoid. Arey, I have stomach pain, you are telling I have typhoid. No, that is a symptom. Understood? But we know only symptom. The doctor knows the cause. Understand? So Arjuna expressed the symptom. Bhagavan came to know the symptom is because of disease, samsara rogaha. Yashreyasya nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. Shadhi. You rule me, you teach me, you advise me, you make me to do certain things which will solve my problems. Like that he surrenders. It is like a patient going to hospital and says, please, someone of you solve my problem. He doesn't know which doctor he is going to get to solve his problem. He goes to the hospital. Similarly, the seeker goes to the hospital called religious places, temples, and surrenders to the Lord. Oh Bhagavan, I have all these problems. So he surrenders to the Lord. Because somehow from his childhood, he is habituated to go to temple and complain, habituated to give application and appeals. So with that habit, with a faith that Bhagavan hears my prayers and he solves my problems, because he now and then he got some phala also for his pujas, like Arjuna. Whenever he had problem, he approached Krishna. Krishna gave suggestions, solutions also. Krishna gave his own sister as Arjuna's wife to solve Arjuna's problem. Yes, Arjuna was simply infatuated by the beauty of Subhadra Devi. So, Krishna, this girl is nice, marry, I will arrange. This land is nice, conquer, I will help you. This Jarasandha is troublesome problem, I want to become emperor. Go ahead, I will help you. Like that he helped in many cases. Similarly, every jiva gets help from unseen factor called Ishvara. He is habituated to go to Ishvara to complain or to appeal. So he goes to the Ishvara. Ishvara hands over that jiva to satsanga. There are some group of doctors. Like a hospital has varieties of doctors. Physician, surgeon, ophthalmologist, psychiatrist, gerontologist. Varieties of doctors. Correct? Some will give counseling, some will give operation, some will give medicine, some will give injection. Pathologist, he will check, he will not do anything. Pathologist will only check. So he goes to surrender to the Lord, and Bhagavan hands over to Satsanga, a group of doctors. So once the patient comes, in big hospital you can see, many doctors will approach. What's the complaint? What's the problem? What's the problem like that? So once the symptoms are told, the doctors who are not connected with that symptom will go off. Similarly, the sadhus community also, varieties of guidance it has. It is happy with itself. Sadhus community don't go to the society and complain, we have problem. Have you heard of sadhus community going to the government and telling we have problem? Going to the public and telling we have problem? It will not complain. Only society has to come to sadhus. Sadhus will not go to society. If at all sadhu wants to get something for his life or anything, he will go to temple again or he will ask Bhagavan, not the public. Bhagavati Bhikshan Dehi goes to public, but he doesn't go to public to get, to give something he goes. Shukacharya, whenever he goes for Bhiksha, Bhagavatam says, to bless them he went for Bhiksha. Because every sadhu knows, even if I sit in one place, I will get, as long as the prarabdha of this body exists, food has to come to me, whether I go or not. That's why Shastra has prescribed sadhus for every sadhu, don't stop going Bhiksha. Because seeing you, they will remember the Lord. Seeing you, one fellow can follow you also. So this Guru Parampara has to continue. So you have to be always in touch with the society, so that the society is reminded of the purpose of life. The society can see you a living example who lives with discrimination, with renunciation. Understand? So sadhus don't go to society for anything, including for food. And modern sadhus, we never go. Donation comes, we give receipt, that's all. If you want anything, we will give you only appeal, that's all. You give or you don't give, who gives, how much given, we don't bother. Understood? So doctors don't go to the patient. Patient comes to the doctor. All the doctors are assembled in a hospital called a temple. They have their own chief doctor, Bhagwan. And you go to that southern Tamil Nadu temples, there are a lot of sadhus sitting. Even go to Badrinath, Gangotri, Yamunotri, Vrindavan. They will be happy with their own routine. Their lifestyle will be surrounded by the temple activity or scriptural activity, that's all. They will not stop going outside. They will go outside in the pretext of getting bhiksha. But actually they don't need it. It will come to them even if they sit in a cave. They have full conviction. Once I met a Swami Satyananda Saraswati Maharaj in Gangotri, who was living that time, 2008. For 32 years already he was living. When I met him, he lived in that Gangotri without coming down. He was living. In Gangotri, it is minus 30, minus 40 during winter. He never came down even to Uttarakashi. Great soul. So when I heard about him, I went and met him. My very big question is, what he is doing in minus 30, 40 for his food? He is living in a cave. Ajanu Bahu. After making pranam, I asked Swamiji, I have small doubt, can I ask? Yes, yes. On which part of the scripture you have doubt? He asked. Then I told, not about the scripture. About you. About me? What? How you get food? I asked. He gave a slap. Literal slap. Full slap. 6.5 feet, more than 6.5 feet. His body was very well built body. Punjabi Sharira. It was. He was a Punjabi by birth. What? What question? A monk is asking another monk? You fellows believe all in local guarantee cards? Local companies guarantee, you all believe? You don't believe my Lord's guarantee card? Like that, yeah. They understood he is coming to Bhagavan's assurance. Guarantee card means assurance. So I quoted that shloka. Ananya chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vaham yaham. I felt happy. Because suddenly that shloka came to my mind and I quoted. Again one more slap he gave. You fellow, quote shloka and ask this question. Like that. You are not convinced about the assurance of the Lord. Bhagavan protects me. I am happy here. Like that. What a tremendous conviction, you see. 32 years he was living there when I met him. 2008, March first week. After receiving sannyasa, I went for parikrama. That time it happened. I still remember that. That face, that gambhiryata, the pleasantness, the childlike behavior. And he is happy with simple cloth, ordinary simple cloth. He was not wearing any garment, that is woolen garments. Then I became friend. Then I asked, okay, Bhagavan only gives. I understand your intensity of your convictions. Just I want to know what you eat and how you spend time. He told, whenever I find I don't have sleep, I'll look at this person. Who is that person? Bhagavan Shiva. He shows a big mountain and considers him as Shiva. I look at him and talk to him. And he talks to me. Okay, when you get hunger, what you do? I eat. What you eat? That's what my question. So he showed some potatoes and some grains. He doesn't cook. He puts them in that dhuni, they call it, dhuni, firewood. So he burns it and eats, that's all. So that conviction is there for the sadhus, that I did not go to society to get small things for my livelihood. Society has to provide, it will provide, and Bhagavan will provide through someone. Even a bhikshuka, even a beggar has this conviction, you know. I asked an old mother, after giving 10 rupees, I asked that mother. When I gave, she gave a blessing, Dirgha Ishman Bhava. Then I asked that mother, beggar mother, Mother, you are blessing me, is that fact? Then she looked at me. Yes, it's a fact. Dirgha Ishman Bhava, that's a blessing from the Lord, I give. I am only a provider, he told. What a clarity. If I don't give this money, or if nobody gives money, what will do? Bhagavan will give. Bhagavan only gives through you, she told. Vedanta is in practice. Yoga Kshema Vahamyaha. So I don't get anything from you people, local people, I get from Bhagavan. I don't give anything from me, I give what I received from Bhagavan. Blessing is universal. Anybody can tap that blessing. Ishvara Kripa is always available, like air, sun, water. It is available. Anybody can use it. So I take and hand over. That's all. That's the blessing. What a clarity. So when the jiva comes to the doctor's community with the disease called samsara rogaha, the community allows that jiva to be with them. That's called satsanga. As a time pass, they share their stories. They share the grandness of the Lord. They share the ideas about the purpose of life. Because already he got a lot of pain, that's why he has come now. So it is soothing for him. I am not the only person who came across all these problems. So these are all there, people are there. So they have found out. And he gets slowly faith. So I may get a person who can treat me in this community. I may get someone in my life to get guidance. So he chooses one person in that community as his teacher. Gurutvam is never achieved by a guru. Gurutvam is given by a sishya. You understand? So student comes and requests the teacher, please accept me as your student. Understand? So in that community, he gets one person as his teacher, and a lot of other sadhus or friends are there. In Swamiji's life, we come across Sarachandra Chakravarti, one person, married man. He approached Swamiji having a lot of these type of philosophical questions. Swamiji blesses him and says, go and meet other sadhus, other monks, other disciples of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. He goes there and tries to move with them, but each one is one and peculiar. So he comes back, no, I cannot. I am not comfortable with them. Each one is peculiar, but I am comfortable with you. I want to be with you, like that. He selects Swamiji. Understand? Then, through satsanga, he discovers that samsara roga is not kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, parichinnatam. Nothing. These are all symptoms only. Actual samsara roga, actual disease is atma ajnanam. Ignorance about oneself is the actual problem, which expressed in the form of parichinnatam, self-inadequacy, smallness, insignificance. He thought parichinnatam may be the cause, therefore to fulfill myself, I am running towards this. While running, I have all these problems. Like that he thought. But when he come to satsanga, when he come to the feet of the teacher, then he finds the actual problem is not parichinnatam. Because the very parichinnatam is because of what is the question? Why I feel that I am small? Who told I am small? Even if others tell that I am small, how can I accept it? How I accepted it? When my mother told that I am a small person, I am a body, how I accepted it? Simply I swallowed pumpkins after pumpkins about myself, given by others. All opinions about myself are opinions of others, forcibly given to me and supported by the society, including my gender, my species, my name. I don't have name. Somebody gave my name. And there are astrologers who can tell the name, and they are very particular about name also. So it's all only informations, ideas, identities given by others. How I accepted? Because of one reason. Because I don't know myself. Atma ajnana parichinnatam becomes a fact. Understand? So because of parichinnatam, dehabhimana, because I have only this as my wealth, my body. So I am body. I am small become I am small body. I am a person with alpatvam. Dissatisfaction. Alpatvam means what? Dissatisfied. I am a dissatisfied person. So dehabhimana becomes the result of parichinnatam. This very parichinnatam is because of atma ajnanam. So actual root cause of all my problem is atma ajnanam. That clarity he gets in satsanga alone. Because up to the approaching satsanga, he was thinking himself as body only. So I know myself when he says, that's why anybody answers for a question, who are you? Correct? Everybody answers. Who are you? He tells his name, father's name. So he gives biodata, entire and there are some speakers or some guests, some functions you can see. They will have 2 pages of their biodata. He so and so, did so and so, did that, this, that. People who hear this get bored. They wanted to hear some ideas from that guest. But when the guest is introduced, lot of biodata. Who gave this biodata? This fellow only gave, writing and given. And he considers as something grand. And that's why he writes all his petty achievements as a great achievements, and he hands over to the reader. The reader, as usual, introduces. So this parichinnatam is because of the atma ajnanam. This parichinnatam leads to dehabhimanam. Once Dehabhimana comes, I am body idea comes, natural consequence is I have to satisfy the Deha. The Deha needs so many things. Not only physical body, emotional body is there, mind is there. Lots of list. Achievable, unachieved. So he starts counting the missing. Instead of counting the blessing, he starts counting the missing. It's a big list. Suppose he is born of a king. He is a prince, suppose. He is aware of that princehood. I am the prince. I am the prince of this small country only, na. I am not the prince of an emperor. So chief minister's son thinks what? 5 years only my father is going to be chief minister. Afterwards what he will become, Bhagavan only knows. Correct? Yes, a child of IAS officer thinks what? As long as my father is in this post, bulky post it is, wherein you get lot of bribe. When this father is going to be transferred and put as a record clerk. There are certain IAS officers who are transferred to a position as a record clerk. Because their presence in the administration is a problem, because they are truthful. They don't cooperate with the corrupt politicians and others. There are many IAS officers who retired as people with debt loans, because they are truthful. Their salary is not enough for their livelihood. That's what, small salary only they get. But why everyone aspires for it? Because they get extras. Lot of extras they get. So, even if you get something that is not in the blessing list, same thing is in the missing list. Yes, lot of possibilities there to get more. Why can't I desire? So, kamaha. Then pravritti nivritti. Action to get and to get rid of. Then karma, activities. Then karma phalam, results of the actions, which is in the form of punyam, papam. Desirable, undesirable. Punya means desirable, which I desired. Papa means undesirable, which I have not desired. Sukham, dukkham. Punyam, papa means sukham, dukkham. Sukham is always desirable. Nobody desires dukkham. Nobody cries that I want cry, like that. Everybody cries for sukha only. Nobody cries for dukkha. Everybody desires for sukha only. So, the vicious cycle. Then punya papam, karma phalam. Then again one more birth because of that. Because unsatiated desires are there in the mind. Keeping that body is given up because of old age or mrityu. Then the mind travels, then again gets one more body. Again in that body also ignorant. And he takes that body takes ideas about himself given by others. Imagine a donkey child. What it will think? I am a donkey. Because that is the idea given by mother donkey. Same jiva might have been prince in the previous janma. No, I was a prince. How can I accept myself as a donkey child? Like that it doesn't ask. No, if all children ask how it is truth about myself, whatever you say, how can it be truth? Because I remember I was like that in that janma, I was like this in that janma, like that if they remember, what will happen? Srishti will stop. So Bhagavan conveniently covered everything. All old samskaras, because people will be terrified. You go on a street and you come across a dog and you suddenly remember that dog was mother-in-law in the previous janma who gave a lot of suffering, and what you will do? Now the dog is in receiving end na, so you take a lathi and start running. People will think, this fellow has become mad or what? So society will not move on. Srishti will not move on. So Bhagavan conveniently covered every ignorance, and he kept every individual as ignorant only about himself. So the real possession, the real wealth we have is the self-ignorance, which leads to parichinnatvam, which leads to dehabhimanam, which leads to kamaha, desire, which leads to pravritti, nivrittihi, which leads to karma, which leads to karma phalam, which leads to punarjanma. Again vicious. It's a vicious cycle. So he discovers what is samsara rogaha, from which he wants to get rid of. Then what is the solution? The same acharya, same satsanga gives him the solution also. If the problem is ignorance about oneself, the solution will be what? Knowledge about oneself. If problem is in the stomach, the solution must be where? The stomach only. Understand? If the problem is with regard to one person, you cannot give solution to the another person. So here the location of disease is what? Self. What is the disease? Ignorance. The location is self, first person singular. The first person singular is having this disease called ignorance. So whichever places it goes and touches, the effect of that ignorance pervades that area also. Understand? My Acharya Swami used to say, one fellow had pain in the finger. So whenever he touches any part of his body, he gets pain. So he thought that particular parts have pain. So he went to the doctor and complained, "Doctor, wherever I touch, I get pain." What? Wherever you touch, you get pain? So the doctor touched it. Then he did not have pain. "Doctor, when you touch, I don't get pain." Then when you get pain? When I touch, how you touch it? Show. So he touched through his finger. Then doctor caught hold of that finger. Pain is not in your body. Here it is. Similarly, this eye is having lot of problem. And eye is all pervasive in any transaction. In any statement, eye is there, hidden or explicit. You cannot come across any statement in the creation. You cannot come across any sentence in the creation without the presence of I. Any idea in the creation without the presence of I. Any achievement in the creation without the presence of I. It is all achievements are for I. For me only. Na? Atmanastha kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. In that list, Bhagavan also comes. Veda comes. Veda is for whom? If it is going to help me only, not another fellow. God for whom? Me. I is there, hidden. That's why Upanishad is told, Atmanastha kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. So without the presence of I, you don't have any pravritti or nivritti, you cannot have any desire, you cannot have any bhoga, you cannot do any action. So entire life is surrounding on the one axle called I. In a wheel there is an axle. So if that is weak, then wheel also is a weak. When wheel is weak, entire body, entire vehicle is a weak. When vehicle is weak, the person who is inside riding, he also in trouble. If the problem is with regard to I, first person singular, the solution also should be with regard to first person singular. That's why when you go to people who say God is great, okay, God, let the God be great or not great. What is the problem? What is the utility of me? The more and more you describe about the greatness of the God and say that I am his child, the religious people say in Purana. So the more and more you glorify the God entity and say that I am his child, he has created me and he has created everything, he has created problem also. What is this nonsense? He doesn't have any work at all other than creating problem for me. Why should he create? Why Bhagavan created this world? Many people have this. Why Swamiji's world is creation? I asked, love failure, like that. Immediately, Swamiji, you understood? Whenever love failure happens, this comes. Up to that time, this question will not come. I told, to ask this question only, he created this world. Okay? So that you can ask this question. That's the answer given in the Shastra. Why world is created? Because you wanted it. You wanted idli, therefore he has to provide paddy, rice, and to provide paddy or rice, he has to provide land. Only land is not enough. Water is necessary, sunlight is necessary. Because for idli's sake, he has created it. To fulfill your desire called eating idli, he has created this jagat. Understood? For one idli, entire creation has come. For one idli, yes. He is a provider. Karma phala dhata. Jagat karana Ishvara. Let him be great, Swami. What I can get from him? That's the question. So the solution must be Atma Jnanam. If the problem is Atma Ajnanam, the solution must be Atma Jnanam. Therefore, hereafter, my entire life is spent for gaining this knowledge. It is like a patient deciding, hereafter, I will do everything to get rid of this problem. Correct? He admits himself, he allows anesthesia, he allows to cut his body, swallows a lot of medicines. He keeps himself lying down when saline is put on his body, and he meticulously follows the doctor's prescription before food, after food. Food is this much only, this type of food only. So many things, rules and regulations. He completely hands over himself to the doctor. Before handing over himself to the doctor, he should have a lot of conclusions in his mind, lot of convictions in his mind. Understand? This is the maturity expected of a disciple. Hereafter, my entire life, including bathing, walking, eating, everything is for this purpose only. For what purpose? Atma Jnana Praptyartham. So I will not deviate from this goal, and I will follow the prescription meticulously, and I will hand over myself, my entire life, with lot of faith and trust in the hands of the doctor called my Gurudev. This surrender is a result of lots of suffering. Pariksha Lokan, Karmachitan, Brahmanaha, Sanne. If you are a thinking person, only you can surrender. The most intelligent action Arjuna did in his life is what? He surrendered to the Lord. He did not negate that Lord as a charioteer, as a friend. Understand? Shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. I am a prapannaha. I am surrendering to you. Please accept me as your disciple. Immediately prahasanniva bharata. The result is what? Bhagavan could have avoided teaching all these teachings. Correct? He could have shown some magic. Like when he showed magic to Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra, just 1 month before he showed magic, na? Big Vishwarupa Darshana. Or he could have assured, all these things cannot be pursued in this battlefield. Already 18 Akshagunis. One Akshaguni means 2 lakh soldiers. With their cavalries, elephant, horses, horse dung, elephant dung smell. What is this time? Kutatva kashmalamitam vishame samupastitam. Not a conducive atmosphere for talk all these things. He says. But still he accepts him because the intensity of his suffering so deep. The surrender was so complete. Immediately Bhagavan does not have any other choice than showering his grace. In the form of not touching, not giving Vishwarupa Darshan, not counseling. The grace expressed in the form of teaching. Teaching about the facts about life. So that grace can be tapped only when you surrender to the doctor intensely, completely. If the surrender is complete, Shraddhavan, Jnanam Lapate. That's over. It's a ribbon cutting work. So to come to this level, we have to do lot of sadhanas. Sadhanas are not for Jnana Praptyartham. Sadhanas are always for Jnana Yogyata Praptyartham. To get a disciplehood, you should practice lots. All religious sadhanas, Japa, Nama Sankirtana, meditation, Karma Yoga, we are going to see all those things. What are all the roles? All of them are to bring a person to this condition that I don't have any choice, I don't have any other goals in my life. Other than you, I don't have any choice. Other than finding myself in reality, other than gaining self-knowledge, I don't have any work at all. Other than this Atma Jnanam, I don't want anything in life. Arjuna expressed, na? Avapya bhuma vasapatnam mrityam rajyam suranam api chadipathyam. Now you understand? It's not a joke to become a student. But still there are so many students struggling to become a student. There are so many students who struggle to become actual students. Understand? So the conviction of a spiritual seeker is Atma Ajnanam Yeva Samsara Rogaha Atma Jnanam Yeva Samsara Aushadhihi Tasmat Jnana Pratyartham Aham Yata Sadhyam Yatishye. As much as possible, I will struggle in my life time which is hereafter from this moment onwards. When Guru says you are not qualified for it, okay, I may not be qualified for it. Jnana Pratyartham, I may not be qualified. At least I will struggle for Jnana Yogyata Pratyartham. I will struggle to become a Viveki first, then Vairagi, then Samadhi Shatka Sampannaha, then Mumukshuhu, then Jignasuhu. Each stage is grand and it may take births also. But we need not worry because we have started this journey. Let it be end in this very physical body itself, in this Janma itself, or let it be after 1000 Janmas. But we decide today that hereafter my life goal is Jnana Prapti only. Then Bhagavan says, I will help you, don't worry. Apiche Suduracharo Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhag Sadureva Samantavyaha Samyak Vyavasito hi saha Kshipram Bhavati Dharmatma Shashvaschantim Nigachati Kaunteya Pradijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. My devotee who has decided to gain this knowledge and who has surrendered to me in general, even if he is a most cantankerous person, he is a Nobel Prize winner in criminality also, I accept him as a sadhu, as a seeker of spiritual truth, and it is my duty to convert him as a dharmic man, then slowly as a viveki, vairagi, then mumukshuhu, then samadhi shatka sampanna, then adhikari. Then I will bless him with tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam. Te yena mam upayanti. It is my duty to carry him all along his lifetime, all along his janmas. One after the another janma I will guide him. So that's enough for guarantee card is enough for us. So let us start the journey to become a disciple of this spiritual knowledge. Seeker of the spiritual knowledge means a person who decides what he wants. Even if the decision is a vague one, it is effective. It will help. More convictions about this Viveki we will come across the next class. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Om Yachandasam Rishabho Vishwarupaha Chandobhyodhyamrita Sambhabhuva Samendro Medhaya Aspranoto Amritasya Devadharano Bhuyasam Shariram Me Vitarshanam Jitva Me Madhumattama Karnabhyam Bhuri Vishruvam Brahmana Koshosi Medhaya Pikitaha Shrutam Me Gopaya Agahanti Vidanvana Gurvana Chiramatmanaha Vasagum Simamagavascha Annapane Cha Sarvata Tato Me Shriyamavaha Lomasham Pashubhasahas Swaha Amayanto Brahmacharina Swaha Vimayanto Brahmacharina Swaha Pramayanto Brahmacharina Swaha Damayanto Brahmacharina Swaha Shamayanto Brahmacharina Swaha Yashodhane Swaha Shreyan Vasya Sosane Swaha Tam Tva Bhaga Pravishane Swaha Sama Bhaga Pravisha Swaha Tasmin Sahasra Shake Nibagaham Tvayimraje Swaha Yatha Papravatayanti Yatha Masa Aharjaram Evam Mam Brahmacharinaha Dhatarayantu Sarvata Swaha Prativeshosi Pramapagi Pramapadhyasva Om Medha Devi Dushamanana Agan Vishwachir Bhadra Sumanasyamana Vayadushtanudamana Duruktaan Brihatvadema Vidate Suvira Vayadushtarashir Bhavati Devi Vaya Brahmagata Shrirutattvaya Vayadushtarchitram Vindate Vasusano Dushasva Dravino Namedhe Medha Maindro Dadatu Medha Devi Saraswati Medha Me Ashvinau Bhava Datta Pushkarasraja Apsaratu Chaya Medha Gandharveshu Chayanmanaha Daivi Medha Saraswati Sama Medha Surabhajushatag Swaha Ama स्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगती जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सामा मेधा सुप्रतीकाजुषन्ता मयि मेधां मयि प्रजा मयि अग्नस्तेजो दधातु मयि मेधा मयि प्रजा मयि इन्द्र इन्द्रियं दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजा मयि सूर्यो राजो दधातु ॐ हंस हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्।